In this lecture, we will explore the concept of removing magic numbers, which is another key technique to elevate accuracy. Let's begin with the definition. What is magic number? Magic numbers are numbers that appear without any audit trail or explanation within a formula. For example, in this instance, in the formula you have 2 million plus 100K. What is that? And in the second examples, you have something multiplied by something minus 10,000. What is the 10,000? No audit trail, no documentation. It just appeared there magically. That's why it's called magic numbers. Magic numbers should be avoided because we need to be able to explain and rationalize all numbers. We cannot say, I can't remember why I put 100,000 there or why we put 10,000 there. A second reason why we should avoid magic number is because the numbers may be accidentally dragged along when we are extending our file to a new month, for example. So in this example, when we are creating March and we are copying it to the right, the 10,000, which is not visible, can be accidentally carried forward. And that's bad if it's not meant to be carried forward. And lastly, there are better ways to capture the informations without using magic number. What do I mean by that? Sometimes the 10,000 is necessary. It could be discount or it could be adjustment, it could be whatever it is. There are ways to capture it differently without using magic numbers so that it's not creating confusion in the future. It's not creating accidental mistakes in the future. A much better habit to follow. And that's going to be the topic and the focus for the rest of this lecture. How do we remove magic number? Let's explore the answer together in our Excel file. Let's look at magic number example number 1. I showed you earlier that there are some magic numbers in here, 100,000, which has been added to 2020 targets for Nigel. Not sure why. This is bad practice. You're budgeting or you're target setting. It's not good to just have plus 100,000 there. And oops, another one in here, minus 100,000, another magic number. Okay, no magic number there, good. And then, oh, there is 0 times 2 million. That's another magic number. Y times 0. And let's check Michelle. Oof, in here there is 2 million times 50%. Magic numbers everywhere. Really bad practice. So how do we avoid this? Is there a better way? Yes, there is. And I want to show you that. Okay, this is my first tips. Make all the assumptions visible and add the rationale for revisions or changes. So in this instance, I'm splitting the target column into 3 columns. The original, the changes, the revised target in the end, post the changes, and the rationale for the revision being captured also as an additional column on the right. This way, it makes it super clear for anyone today as well as in the future why we're making changes. So instead of saying 0 times 2 million, what we are doing is saying original target is 2 million, the changes is minus 2 million, such that revised target is 0. And the rationale for the changes for Frankie, because he is moving to a new role next year. Isabella, no revision, changes is 0. Peter, minus 100,000, put it there, minus 100. And Nigel, plus 100, put it there, plus 100. And the rationale, maybe key account transfer from one manager to another manager. That's being captured in the rationale. And lastly, Michelle, times 50%, so that's a reduction. We put in a reduction on 1 million. Let's capture the Y. And the Y is, there is 50% reduction in target due to 6 months leave. Very clear, no confusion in the future. Now let's look at our second example of magic numbers, where we have in this cell, D9, 10,000 being deducted from sales. This is a bad practice because there is no documentation of the 10,000. It is not feasible from end user point of view unless if they click this cell, then they will know there is a deduction in here. And I was saying earlier, it's dangerous because when you're dragging it to the right or copying it, can be just accidentally get copied and you're not sure if 10,000 should be or should not be applied. And this is a carried forward mistakes, for example, for March, where the discount or whatever 10,000 is just dragged along. So what's a better practice? Better practice would be to add a ROI to explain what is the 10,000, which in this instance, perhaps something to do with discount. It is better to lay it out transparently. That way, in the month of March, if we have to extend to the right and we are dragging the column, then we can make a decision and we can ask people, is this discount still applicable in March, or is this a special discount which is only applicable in February? If it is not applicable, then it's really clear, but we enter it as 0 and we make it transparent to people that it's not applicable. There is no accidental mistake of the magic number being carried across when you lay it out like this. Let's look at another example of magic number and let's practice together. How can we remove magic number in this situation? The magic number is here in cell D10, where for the labor cost, there is 5,000 and 1,000, but there is no clarity. What is that 1,000 for? So how would you handle this situation? Let's practice together. This is how I would do it. Let's compare with what you think we should do. What I'm doing in here is I'm inserting a new line. I'm calling it overtime. I'm saying in the month of February, our labor cost is higher than normal. Normal is 5,000. In that month, special allowance of 1,000 has been added. Therefore, my profit is 1,000 lower than January because of that. Doing it like this makes it really transparent for people, no more confusion what that is. And again, when we're dragging it to the right to create March, it becomes a transparent assumption that people can review if it should or should not continue into the future. We have now reached the end of the lecture on removing magic number, and let's recap a couple of tips. Magic numbers can create future confusions and unwanted surprises when you accidentally drag it along. Future confusions when you forget, what is that for? Therefore, my recommendation is to always remove magic number. So as you set up a new model, always ask yourself, have I accidentally added any magic numbers? If so, let's remove them before we forget.